Hello and welcome to Benefit News. You're here with me, Marilyn Gore, and this is the Wellness Benefit Podcast. Today we have with us Dr. Vrunda Shah. She's a clinical dietitian and a certified diabetes educator. As you know, we've been talking diabetes, and today we're going to look at the link between nutrition and diabetes and what you can do to make your life easier. Thank you for joining us, Doctor.
Thank you.
Let's just dive right in. You were mentioning the 5 pillars of diabetic management. Can you expand on that a little bit for us?
So yeah, as being a diabetes educator, we always tell our patients you need to follow the 5 pillars. So first is obviously the regular medication if you are on oral medication. Second is regular doctor follow-ups, even if your sugar levels are completely normal. Third one is diet. Now diet is like good healthy habits. Fourth one is exercise, of course. And fifth one, most important, is sleep and stress. So every pillar has equal importance, like 20%. Then only you will be able to manage your sugar levels.
All right, so right now we're talking about, because you mentioned that, some people come and, like a patient would come and say, okay, I'm walking 30 minutes a day, but that's not helping. So, which is why all of the other 4 need to be under control as well.
So you're focusing on one pillar only. What about the 4 pillars?
True. What do you think is the ideal diabetic plate? Let's just start with the food.
Okay.
Here, of course, your usual, I have seen this, that a lot of people are told to eat normal ghar ka thali.
Yeah.
But today's day and age, normal ghar ka thali is not really your everyday food.
Yes.
So what do you do then? Like, how do you go about this?
So actually our ancestors were wisely designed our plate, honestly. So it's all about like 50% vitamins and minerals, 25% protein and 25% carbs. So if for example we are going for the whole thali, then that salad and vegetable portion, that becomes 50% vitamins and minerals. Dal portion, 1 portion of dal and 1 portion of curd or buttermilk, that is 25% protein. And chapati or rice, either or, that is 25% carbs. So if you are balancing this whole nutrients, then definitely you'll be able to manage your sugar levels.
A lot of the time people don't have the time to cook all of these things on a daily basis. So then, and also the fact that we have now moved, because we are more globalized.
Yes.
People are eating more, I wouldn't say eating from out, but even those who are cooking at home might be trying, say, I don't know, Italian or Mexican or even South Indian for that matter.
Yes.
So how do you balance that when you're talking about, say, if you want to have dosas or idlis on a regular basis? A dosa with chutney is the standard. Here at least, sambar does not contain vegetables. So how do you put that into perspective?
It's all about balance, first of all. So, for example, if I'm taking example of dosa, so if you can have rava dosa or ragi dosa, so you can have more protein and more fiber in the food. Along with that, you can have 1 bowl of sambar. So again, that is a protein. Along with that, if you like in the that is masala dosa. You can eliminate aloo, potato, and you can all the vegetables, and that becomes your
So it basically
ideal
comes
plate.
down to a lot of experimentation also.
Yes, of course. We do give the lots of recipes to our patients so that they enjoy the food, and that is the most important part of the diet. They should enjoy their diet. Then only they'll be having the feel-good factor in there.
Yeah, because diet is, when you're talking about diet for a diabetic, it's not like a 3-month weight loss thing.
It's a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
So even if like you told about Italian food, so we go for the suji pizza or rava pizza. We give them the recipes with the rava pasta, or homemade, of course. Everything homemade. So it's like switching the foods.
Speaking of switching the food, what is your take on multigrain rotis or cutting out rotis entirely? Rotis and rice, you switch it up with, bajra or jawar or something like that. Does that work?
So
is that sustainable?
So basically, yes, bajra and jawar is good, but that does not mean we need to eliminate wheat completely from the food. Even if you are traveling or going for the vacation, either you'll be getting wheat roti or you'll be getting maida roti. So we have to adjust our body. We have to, our body should be adapted to that. So in that case, what we suggest is, for a temporary period, you can switch on to jawar or bajra or millets, but only for the 6 days a week. Or once in a week, you can go for the wheat. Now coming to the rice part. Now nowadays low GI rice is available, that is diabetic rice in a layman language. You can switch on to, unless and until your body should be adjusted to that. You can go for the millets. So I always suggest them kodo millet or quinoa if you don't like the taste. Then you can switch on. That's okay.
We have a lot of traditional millets in India, right? You got your pearl millet. So do you think you can use the same things in cook it the way you would cook rice, for instance. Do you think that would be a little bit more helpful for people who want to try these things?
Depends on the people's adaptability, honestly. So not every millet is like palatable.
Uh-huh.
So sometimes we give the khichdi, sometimes we give rice with vegetable curry or something. Sometimes
Okay.
we ask them to prepare a dosa out of it. So it
So basically
depends.
sneaking it in.
Exactly.
All
At
right.
any cost.
You mentioned having protein. Traditionally, the way we make dal, especially in Gujarat, it's very watery. So, how does a vegetarian then get a good source of protein?
Yes, that's a very good question, and we also do agree with that. Dal or sambar, it's like one katori of dal hardly
It's
gives
mostly
you 3
water.
to 4 grams of protein, depends on the thickness or depends on the cooking procedure. But at least something is better than nothing. That's the procedure we are following. Along with that, we also focus on, for example, we are giving them ragi roti or ragi idli if they can have. So that is also protein. Along with that, we do emphasize on having curd and buttermilk if they don't have cold and cough tendency.
So that would, because that's for the to ensure that your gut biome is
Yes.
protected as well.
So gut microbiota, that is a deep topic, honestly, and nowadays it is in Ayurveda. Thousands of years ago, they used to tell it all starts with the gut. Nowadays, lots and lots of studies have come up with that. So it is called a gut dysbiosis, the good bacteria and bad bacteria imbalance. So yes, to balance it with, to cope up with, we need to add more and more prebiotics, that is a fiber,
Okay.
and probiotics.
Can you explain prebiotics versus probiotics in very simple language?
Of course, probiotic is good bacteria.
Okay. So,
So-
like dahi.
Yeah, dahi and buttermilk, of course, and the fermented foods and all. So that is the probiotic.
Okay.
Now, that nowadays, that is the advertisement or endorsement
Yeah, like
on
probiotic dahi. I'm like, isn't all dahi probiotic?
Exactly, there's a marketing strategy. I cannot speak on it, but yes, that is a probiotic. That is the good bacteria in our body. Now, to grow good bacteria, they need some food. Fiber is the food.
Okay.
That is a prebiotic.
All right. That's actually very, very clear and very simple. How lay people might not always understand these things because, like you said, it's a marketing gimmick. So, how is the best way to look into these things on your own? Is Google reliable for this?
Read the labels and go for the authenticate website. For example, Harvard Clinic or Mayo Clinic or something
So,
like that. Yeah.
go back to
or
the
any
science.
dietitian's Instagram page. Qualified dietitians to be
Yeah, again, that's the thing of
precise.
how do we check that there?
To be precise.
Does the order of eating your plate matter?
110%. Research has been proved. If you are like with the same thali as I mentioned, the 50%, if I'm having any or like if I'm consuming the food with any order, I'm not getting that result in comparison to if I'm following the specific order. So generally
So,
people
fiber first or protein first?
Exactly. Generally, people know that fiber 1st. So salad pehle kha lo aur uske baad then chapati sabji and all. But nowadays research has been proved that fiber and protein first and then start with the carbs. It will give you amazing results.
So, your
and not
sugar
the
doesn't spike as much.
Not rapid sugar spikes.
What about fruit? Because a lot of the times they're told that patients are told that you can have certain fruits but not other fruit. Does that mean you can't have things like mangoes and chikus and all, or bananas, for instance? Now, bananas in India are like a staple.
Yes.
How do you do without bananas?
So if your sugar is not under control, then yes, you need to avoid it for a temporary period.
So it's
Unless
not
and
like
until your sugar is
get
on
it
control.
out.
Not at all. And then your sugar is, if your sugar is level is okay. Now, most important thing which I want to convey is like fruit should not be consumed along with the major meals. Either you can consume before 2 hours or after 2 hours.
So, not dessert.
Yes, exactly.
What about fruits and nuts together? Because fat does play a role in sugar
Yes.
absorption,
So
doesn't it?
I always tell my patients, if you're having watermelon or even muskmelon in a limited portion, have it with the seeds or with the nuts. Then the absorption will be better.
Okay. No, I'm talking about like because sugar spikes more when it is just sugar and all fruit is essentially sugar.
Fructose, yes. But if you are, combining with omega content, that is a good fat in layman language. So it lowers the absorption of the carbohydrate. Fructose is also a form of carbohydrate only. So it lowers and the digestion and absorption of carbs. So it's like, I would say, delayed gastric emptying.
Okay.
That's what happening, and that is like the role it plays with.
I just wanted no, I just wanted to check with you because I remember reading this somewhere that also micronutrients have a major role to play in diabetes control.
110%, because first of all, few of the medicines, because of that also
Should we maybe
vitamins
go back
and
to what
minerals.
are micronutrients for our audience?
Micronutrients are they are required in the body in the smaller amounts basically. So that is vitamins and minerals. And
Okay.
macro is carbs, protein and fat.
Okay.
So now micro vitamins and minerals, people are avoiding it nowadays. Protein importance, like protein, I would say awareness is
Protein
much.
powders are a good idea.
That's a controversial topic, but yes, if any plant-based good brand protein you can go with.
Okay.
Authenticate one, organic one, and non-GMO. Most important, non-GMO.
Non-GMO, that's okay.
Yeah, that is non-genetically modified.
No, I know what it is.
organism.
It's just
Okay.
that it's a little hard to track these things even on the labels.
I agree. That's why you need to ask the expert, either your doctor or your dietitian.
Okay. So you said fruit in smaller quantities and not with a major meal. So maybe
Yes.
like an 11 o'clock snack. Does that work?
As a mid meal, as a mid morning meal, or as a mid evening meal, you can have it. Per day, 2 to 3 fruits is recommended at a time limited portion. So you can say about
So just
70
not,
to
don't eat a
100
whole
grams.
case of mangoes at one time.
Preferably not, but if your sugar level is normal, I do allow.
Well, that's
as a
one mango, no,
mid-evening.
not the whole
Not,
peety
of
of
course
it.
not. And that is a whole fruit, not the amrus.
Yes, that's another thing I wanted to ask you. You know, this whole thing of juices versus whole fruits.
So fruit juices, obviously the fructose content and the high GI. So because of that, the sugar.
Why is it high GI? Because it's
So,
essentially, some
if
might
I'm
argue it's
giving
the same thing.
Huh.
So,
if
can you
I'm
explain
giving
why?
you the common example, if you're sick, okay, people or even doctors will ask you to have fruit juices, not the whole fruits. Why? Because instantly your sugar spike. Okay, but if you are on a weight loss program or if you are on a diabetes program, then definitely you need to have whole fruits first because of the fiber content. Second, if I'm, like making a 5 oranges juice of 1 glass, so 5 orange calorie I'm consuming.
That's only the
basically.
sugar without any of the fiber.
Exactly, and sometimes people are saying like I'm not filtering it. But still, it has the enzyme will be broken down. So by default, it will be.
Would it be right to say that because it's quicker digestion, your body is absorbing it faster?
It's not for quicker digestion. I would say it's instantly converted into the sugar. Initially, the neurons that send the signal to our mind that okay, sugar is there. Pass the insulin.
Okay.
So that's why insulin resistance will be there.
So by eating whole fruit, for instance, or any fiber for that matter, your brain is a little slower in that process.
Fiber is slow releasing carbohydrates.
Okay.
So that's why.
So it gives you more bulk and makes you feel full
Dealing
longer
gastric
also.
empty. So it slows the process of digestion. So sugar spike will not be there.
Okay. So that I think is important for all diabetics to understand the difference between just eating something and how that affects.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Okay? Enjoy your favorite food, but with the right training and education.
A lot of the times we've heard this thing like, I can't follow a diet, or it's in my genes, hona hi tha, that sort of a thing. So how do you deal with patients who come in with this kind of a mentality?
So generally we do explain if they are able to understand, if they are aware about. I would say that research has been proved, studies has been proved that 80% it's all about because of the lifestyle. So obviously what I'm eating, whatever I'm eating, being a parent, I'm going to duplicate the same lifestyle to my next generation. And then if my kid grows up and detected with the diabetes, and then he said that okay, it's in my genes, I guess it's unfair. We can reverse the genes, or we can change the expression of our genes by changing the lifestyle, by working on a lifestyle. And we have proven it in our patients.
No, a lot of the times we're very careful about what we feed our children as a society.
Yes.
But the same things, I'm not seeing that in adults. Like I have friends, for instance, who will not give their children sugar at all.
But they are consuming lots of.
Yeah. So then, how do you deal with patients like that?
Kids will not do what you say.
They will
Kids
do
what you do. So we need to set a right example. So I always tell my kid, okay, you can enjoy your food in a mindful eating, and once a week, okay, you can have.
I mean, how much can you control a child's nutrition also, considering they're going to go to school, they're going to share with their friends, and
80-20 ratio again.
So, are there any common myths about diabetes and nutrition, for instance, that you would like to break?
Most of you already covered, but still I would say, okay, omega. that is good fat. So, and of course, the animal protein versus plant protein. That is also the most common one question generally people do ask to us. So, research has been proved plant protein has a similar effects by gaining the muscle mass and controlling on insulin resistance, same like the animal protein. Now, animal protein is not bad. It is still the hero product in terms of protein and good fat, unless and until type of animal protein that matters. The red meat, processed meat, definitely it's the worst thing. But you can have the chicken, but also with the
Like the white meat.
yeah, maybe, or boiled chicken or chicken breast, or depends. Also the egg, also the fish. That is the most wonderful. So if the person is fish eater, I always tell them that it is a plus point that you are having fish. You are a fish.
Yeah, when you
picker.
said omega-3, my brain first went to cod liver oil tablets, because I mean my grandparents used to make me have those when I was a kid. It was disgusting. But it was there all the time. But I think so.
We should.
Is there so what is the best alternative to that if you are not a meat eater?
Yes, fish oil supplement is a must nowadays.
Okay, but
So British Journal
what
of
about
Medicine.
what about for vegetarians and vegans?
So in that
Nuts?
case, you can go for the flaxseed oil supplement or nuts and seeds, but the conversion ratio is only 20% in comparison to fish. So yes, and generally people, I tell my patients, if you have consumed capsule throughout your life, it is a gelatin content. So it's all in the mind.
What about soya products? A lot of people, if they're vegetarian, they tend to go towards soya. And I don't mean soya bean, I mean soya chap, soya whatever, nuggets, these
soya
kind of
chaps,
things.
nuggets.
But isn't a lot of that also, let's be clear, maida?
Yeah, not at all. But if soya is a hero product, no doubt about it. It is the only vegetarian protein which has all the 9 essential amino acids.
Okay.
So you can go with that unless and until you are taking care of the cooking procedure.
So no deep fried
unless
soya.
unless and until you have thyroid or you have thyroid in your family history, you need to avoid soya.
What is the connection there between how does
It's a
thyroid?
goitrogen, basically.
Does
So it-
thyroid affect diabetes in this sense in terms of food?
No, not in terms of diabetes. Soya and thyroid has a connection.
Okay, all right. So, but diabetics with thyroid or thyroid in their family should be careful.
They should be careful about soya products.
Okay. Anything else?
Most of us have already come, but I always emphasize on diet is not a temporary thing, it's a lifestyle change. So you need to focus on the good healthy habits. Go with any doctor, doctor or dietitian, any expert, diabetes expert. Take right training and education, and then you can enjoy your life. It's not like मर के जीना ऐसा नहीं है.
No, we were talking to earlier. I was talking to one of the other doctors about how a drop in like hypoglycemia is a bigger problem than hyperglycemia.
True that.
So what a lot of patients are told, कि दूधी का soup पियो. All of this is random. It sounds only weird, and it is definitely not sustainable. So suppose you are given like the GM diet, for instance.
No,
only drink clear vegetable soup all day. I'm like, how is this going to? You're going to keep feeling hungry, and then you're going to binge later, right? So how do you deal with patients who come to you saying कि मैंने ये सब fat diets किए हुए हैं, but my sugar levels are not going down?
I always tell them, okay, observe my pattern for 1 month and you'll get your answers.
All right. That has been very informative. Thank you for joining us, Doctor.
Thank you.
That's all we have for this time. If you liked it, you know what to do. Leave us a comment. If you didn't like it, tell us why. Share this with your friends. And if you have any questions for Dr. Vrunda or any of our previous doctors, do leave us a message and we'll get back to you. Thank you for joining us again. I'm Marilyn and you're with Benefit News.